Hello my cine chums and welcome to week 35 of the 2023 Weekly Movie Challenge, where every week we issue you a challenge to watch a movie that meets certain criteria. Ideally a new movie to yourself, but what, you want to watch Little Shop of Horrors for the 100th time?
Done. Fine. Great. Don't think you're getting dessert.
Last week's challenge was suggested by one of our challengers, Lucas, who suggested to watch a movie from a director, actor or screenwriter whose work you'd not previously seen. And we threw in there an extra added little option to watch something where the director, actor or screenwriter, you've only seen one or two of their filmography and want to go and explore them a little bit further. Thanks to everyone who took part in this week's challenge. There were some excellent choices. Really enjoyed seeing what you'd all watched. This week's most popular movies were The Grand Budapest Hotel, The Great Dictator, Rashomon and Bahubali. Rewards for multiple watches. First of all, Overlord G4 watched their first Charlie Chaplin movie. Not only that, they also watched their second, third and fourth. They watched A Day's Pleasure, The Immigrant, A Night at the Show and The Great Dictator. And likewise, Baba Forrest dived straight into Wes Anderson's filmography, watching 4 movies of his. They were The Grand Budapest Hotel, French Dispatch, Fantastic Mr. Fox and Rushmore. As fans of SS Rajamouli's RRR, Ghost Pirate LeChonk and Food of Fruits both watched Bahubali the beginning and Bahubali the conclusion. Baggy Trousers did a Park Chan-wook double bill. Having previously seen Old Boy, they completed this Vengeance trilogy by watching Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and Lady Vengeance. PirateDJ watched their second Akira Kurosawa movie, Rashomon, as well as their second Charlie Chaplin movie, The Great Dictator. Snowman also watched their second Charlie Chaplin movie. They watched Modern Times, having previously seen The Kid. They also watched Close, a movie from Belgian director Lucas Don't, having seen their previous movie, Girl. And finally, Lucas, who set the challenge, watched Yorgos Lanthimos' The Favourite and Buster Keaton's The Cameraman. I myself also watched my second Charlie Chaplin movie. That was The Great Dictator from my 100 movie poster bucket list. Can't believe it's taken me so long to watch it. Absolutely loved every single minute of it and definitely deserves to be hailed as one of the greatest movies of all time. So what's it out for me this week? First of all, Dave Ratcliffe watched Jean de Florette, directed by Claude Berry, for a previous challenge. So they went back to their filmography and watched Manon des Sources for this week's challenge. Great option. I love the way you brought in a previous challenge to complete this challenge. As previously mentioned, Food of Hoops and Ghost Pirate LeChonk both watched Bahubali the beginning and Bahubali the conclusion. I'm adding the conclusion onto this list because I'd completely forgotten to get around to watching it. Seen Bahubali the beginning, hadn't watched the conclusion, and come to think of it, the same goes for The Witch. I've seen The Witch Part 1, but not Part 2 yet, so I need to pull my finger out and finish those two. I loved Oz Queen's choice. Oz Queen watched The Ocean Waif, which was directed by Alice Guy, who's considered the first female filmmaker. And finally, Nostromo 1's choice of The Passion of Joan of Arc. One of those movies I've read about, heard about. I know it's supposed to be great. I just never got around to watching it. It's been on my watch list for several years. I need another one. I just need to get around to watching sooner or later. And so on to this week's challenge. My favourite weeks are definitely ones where we have user-suggested challenges. So guess what? This week's going to be a good week. PirateDJ suggested that for this week's challenge, watch a movie with a size in the title or size plays an integral part of the plot. So, for example, there's the recent Jerry and Marge Go Large, a true story starring Bryan Cranston about a couple that won the lottery and used the money to revive their small town. You all know I'm a big fan of The BIG Lebowski. What about The Big Easy, a neo-noir thriller about a detective and a district attorney? On the other side of the size scale is Small Soldiers, about some action figures that were made using missile technology who begin to take their programming a little too literally. Well, there's the 1980s classic sci-fi musical comedy Little Shop of Horrors about a man-eating alien plant. So that's size in the title. What about size in the plot? You could watch King Kong, the original oversized movie. You could watch the original King Kong, the 1970 remake with Jeff Bridges, the Peter Jackson 2005 remake, or any of the King Kong spin-offs, for example, Godzilla vs. Kong, or any of the Godzilla franchise. There's an abundance of oversized insect movies, my favourite of which has to be the 1950s Tarantula movie, or if I'm in the mood for something a bit more silly, Eight-Legged Freaks. One on my watch list is the Matt Damon comedy Downsizing, in which a man chooses to shrink himself so that he can live a better life. And finally, Inner Space and Fantastic Voyage both feature piloted submarines that have been miniaturized and injected inside a human being. So if you like this challenge, even just a little, please give it a big thumbs up. It will hugely be appreciated. It's a small thing for you to do, but it makes a large difference to our tiny channel. And on that note, thanks for watching. Good luck with the challenge. We'll see you next week.